Hi, welcome to Foxy Little Nuggets. This is where, of course, I will delve through the compost heap of news to find those little golden nuggets that make the life worth living. Or even, if I'm lucky, a fully expensed motorhome. More of that in a moment. Because we're going to begin with the Mandelson files. Oh boy, yes. Lots of them. Mandelson is back like a cursed hard drive found in a Downing Street skip. Today's front pages were absolutely wall to wall Mandelson. There are so many things you could say. The Guardian was saying he received some very sensitive briefings before vetting was complete, of course. And the Sun and the Telegraph are all over the messages about Labour asking who the hell they can tax next to fund all the benefits. The Mail sees poisonous infighting. The Mirror asked what is left to hide. And at this point, of course, Labour's internal communications seem to be set to one of two settings: either delete immediately or accidentally publish in the middle of 1,500 pages. You have to wonder which pages were held, because it's not the ones that we were shown. They were bad enough. It's the ones that we didn't get that we really need to see. Starmer's problem, though, is simple. He hired the Prince of Darkness. It was his name all over it. He then looked surprised when the lights went out. Mandelson apparently, though, thought being a Privy Councillor opened doors. Unfortunately, so does a crowbar, but it doesn't necessarily mean the doors want to be opened, does it? The vetting process itself seems to have worked in the same way as airport security. If you turn up wearing a crown and say, "Don't worry, I know Tony Blair," in you go. And, you got to think, oh, poor Keir Starmer, oh dear. His allies have all lost faith in him so very quickly. That's the problem, isn't it? He's got no friends. He's all alone. It's unfair. Well, he deserves it. But, it's all part and parcel of being the Prime Minister. Not that he's going to be the Prime Minister for long, of course. No, not if Andy Burnham has his way. Because reports are, well, Reuters at least are reporting, that Burnham is not planning an early election. So I'm going to move something else crinkling. Burnham's not planning an early election. Apparently they've war-gamed it and decided that if he becomes Prime Minister, he can't afford to go to the country. He'd lose a lot of MPs, including a lot of cabinet members. How reassuring for us all, I suppose. The man has not yet got back into Parliament, and not yet challenged Starmer, and yet he's not even become leader, has he? He's not entered Downing Street, and yet we're being told what he won't do once he's crowned. What else won't he do? He's King of the North, apparently. Britain does not need a King of the North. What it needs is someone competent, which we haven't got. Meanwhile, the bins are going uncollected. Hospitals are barely functioning. Politicians who do not discover ordinary people 5 minutes before a by-election is something else we don't need. All these things sort of coalescing around a man who has many, many plans of what he'll do when he's Prime Minister. But there's no guarantee he'll even win Makerfield. So, it could all be for naught. I do have a non-funny story, of course. We're going to talk about Henry Novak. Starmer says he felt sick watching the footage of police handcuffing Henry Novak as he lay dying. The police are under pressure now after this 18-year-old died in police custody. And all because of a false allegation by his killer. And the grim lesson, I think, is that modern British policing is not colourblind. It is very much anti-white. And they ignore the evidence of a boy dying on the floor to make sure that they get their agenda right. When a dying teenager says he's been stabbed, it's the police's job to make sure that he's cared for, not to handcuff him and read him his rights as he dies. So there's a lot to unpack there, and I'm not going to go into it in depth here. I've covered it before, but accountability must must be real. It can't be performative. It's not theatre. Heads must roll. People must go to jail. But let us look at something brighter. Let us look at Peter Murrell and the gifts of doom, the motorhome of destiny, if you will. This huge, great, big thing that apparently Nicola Sturgeon couldn't see. Apparently it was around the back of the house, but actually there wasn't enough room behind the back of the house to hide it. It would jut out into the street. So I don't believe that. But again, Murrell has admitted embezzling and all that. But the court heard today about some of the things he spent his money on, including the £125,000 motorhome. It had only been driven 4 miles before it was stored. 4 miles. That's as far as he got. What the hell did he buy it for? It was allegedly, though, bought for campaigning during COVID. Of course it was. Grassroots democracy. Yes, let's get down there. Get out and do things with me luxury camper van and me robot lawnmower. Me Jaguar. And enough home goods to open up a local branch of John Lewis. Nicola Sturgeon said she did not know. Well, Nicola Sturgeon, she lies a lot. Who amongst us has not failed to notice a 25-foot motorhome on your drive? Never mind. Literally nobody believes her, and it's just inconceivable that she did not know. But anyway, getting around, the BMA, let's talk about the BMA. The BMA say resident doctors in England will strike between the 15th and 19th of June. The government says its offer would make them on average 35.2% better off than 4 years ago. The BMA says pay restoration remains unresolved. So here we are again, patients waiting, ministers pouting, unions demanding, and the NHS functioning like a hostage, because nobody... A hostage where nobody wants to pay the ransom is what we're struggling for there. Nobody involved seems capable of saying the obvious. That is that the NHS is no longer a health service waiting list. Oh, they don't call them waiting lists anymore, do they? They call them treatment facilitation. There you go. I think that's the word they're using. Christ. Anyway, it's dying. It's on its arse. Too many people. Too many foreigners. Some would argue. There we go. But we will finish on something bright because, we've got to have that. And finally, as Trevor McDonald used to say. So, and finally, we do have one bright little nugget, and that is look up because the sky is putting on a show. Space.com, which is a site I read on an occasional basis, says June is bringing a very close Jupiter-Venus pairing around the 7th to the 9th, with Mercury joining slightly later in the month with the alignment. Excellent. So you're going to have 3 planets very close, aligned in the sky, which means for one brief moment, those three will be more alignment in the solar system than there is in the Labour Party. So look up this week. Venus, Jupiter, Mercury. Calm, majestic, orderly. Proof that at least some bodies can orbit without leaking WhatsApps, stealing camper vans, or asking who they can tax next. What do you think? Well, I tell you what, it reminds me of Les Dawson. He said, I sat there, I looked up, I saw the heavens, I saw the stars, I saw Jupiter reeling majestically in the sky, and I thought to myself, I really must fix the roof of this privy. Thanks very much. Speak to you later. You're all marvellous. Bye.